Assalamu alaikum, I'm Alyssa Monet and welcome to my August month. Today I'm going to be doing the Booktube newbie tag. Let's get started. The first question is, why did you start this channel? I started this channel because I wanted to see more people who look like me in the Booktube space. Number one, Black booktubers are hard for me to find, at least, especially like more within my niche or the types of books that I like, and Black hijabi booktubers even more so. Additionally, I have like a range of things that I like to read. I love reading sci-fi fantasy, but I'm newly starting to get really involved in Black literature and just a broader range of stories. So I wanted to see more channels that talked about the books that I was reading. Some of the books that I read are very popular in the booktube community or in the book talk community or whatever, in just the literary community in general. But some of them are not, and I found when I was trying to engage in dialogue and communication and conversation about what I was reading, whether in person or especially like even finding reviews and finding forums online to talk about these books and to have these conversations, I wasn't seeing it. So yeah, that's why I started this channel. If you like sci-fi, fantasy, blacklit, Afrofuturism, and like not a super, I don't know, I just want to be chill. I just want to talk about my ideas, what I feel about what I'm reading, my responses to what I'm reading, what it's making me think of, and make connections without any pressure. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, stick around, subscribe. Yeah. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things I can bring to Booktube? As I already said, Black hijabi booktuber, I really don't see many people who look like me, so I'm excited to bring just like my aura, personality, vibe, energy.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same
Representation to the space, and also just bring conversations that I don't know if they're happening in the booktube space, especially like some more critical thinking conversations about what I'm reading and my experience as a Black woman and how I can relate to these things, adding my perspective. Yeah. Number 3 is, what are you most excited for about this channel? Yeah, I'm really just excited to have community and conversation surrounding what I'm reading, making connections, talking about our perspectives coming from different backgrounds, what we liked, what we disliked, what could be better, what we want to see more of. I think mostly I'm excited to have community and also to share my thoughts. I do think I have like a unique voice and I have thoughts and things to say. So I am excited to, get out my thoughts and feelings and opinions about reading, which I don't get to do often. Number 4 is, why do you love reading? I don't know how to answer that question. Honestly, I've loved reading since a child. Middle school especially, I started like my real reading journey, and I've just been reading since then. Like, I would knock out books in a day, 2 days, in a weekend, bookathons or readathons, and with my school, joining the school book club, donating to the library. Like, that's just always been my kind of vibe. I enjoy the stories. I enjoy the time spent in solitude. There's nothing better than like sitting cozy with a book and reading and enjoying these stories. And if you're a book reader, book lover, you all know that the best movies were books first. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, there's something about a book. I love reading all the different stories, diving into different worlds. In reading, you get to like imagine, like with the activism work I do, I don't think enough of us are imagining the future. I think we know what's wrong with right now, but we're not imagining the solutions for the future. And when I'm reading, I get to see all of these different worlds and all of these different communities collide, and I get to really like imagine what our world could be like if it weren't like this. So yeah, I think I just love like getting lost in a book. And lately reading more Black lit, I love that I can relate to it. I love that it's more nuanced. I feel like I'm like being seen in the books, and I learn a lot. I get to like deal with a lot of different types of people and personalities when I'm reading books and understanding different backgrounds and characters and perspectives, and that overflows into my reality, into my personal life, where I'm actively empathizing and sympathizing with others more easily because of the breadth of work I read. So that's, I would say, why I love reading. What book or series got you into reading? I've read so many books. I have absolutely no idea. When I was younger, I think I loved reading the like Treehouse series, the Magic Treehouse, something like that. I was with that for a while. Junie B. Jones. I mean, like, that type of stuff I think I was in for a while. But I think, yeah, like Junie B. Jones, Magic Treehouse, lots of like adventure books. And then when I was in middle school and I was really delving deep into my reading journey, that's when I loved reading like hauntings and like stuff like that. Hunger Games came out in middle school. I was I read through that so fast. I would say mostly that. When I was in high school, I took a class about sci-fi literature. That was actually the first time I read Dune. I read an excerpt from Dune as well as a bunch of other like sci-fi literature, and I just, you know, I was reading sci-fi dystopian type novels or like sci-fi or dystopian fantasy novels, etc. But that class, I was able to delve more into the tropes and utopian, dystopian, and all of these different things, and critically thinking about the books I was reading instead of just enjoying the stories. And I really loved that aspect as well. College, I fell off, and then sometimes towards the end of college, I just like picked up reading again. Maybe it was COVID, I don't know. I picked up reading again, and from there I was hooked. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Honestly, I don't even think I have favorite booktubers. There's a couple people that I watch, but again, I just don't really see people who are reading the books I'm reading, having some of the ideas I'm having, or making some of the connections. Everybody's doing lots of like book reviews, and I liked this and I didn't like this and blah blah blah, and that's fine. But I also just kind of want to talk about the breadth, the content of the book, relating it to today, connections, making connections. And especially when it comes to the Black literature, there's a lot more discourse in the academic space, but not as much discourse in the recreational reading space. And I hope to like see more of that. If you guys have any recommendations of channels I should be watching, definitely slide those my way. There's this queer Black booktuber that posts. I watch them occasionally. I'm forgetting the name. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen. And I do like some of their content, but otherwise, I don't even think I would have a favorite booktuber to ask a question. So next question. Okay, the next question. I'm reading off my computer. This is kind of long, so I'm gonna, yeah. Number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Probably like reading. I love reading, but everybody else I feel like is pumping out hella books at once, and they're just like reading 12 books a month, and like my goal is to read 12 books a year. Like that's where I'm at. I really enjoy reading, but sometimes like getting myself to sit down and read is a lot, and I'm definitely not going to be here to be doing massive book hauls and blah blah blah, at least not right now. So I might say that, but even still, I don't know that will be an issue, because even for the chapters that I read, I still have something to say about them, and if nobody talks to me, then I'll be sad. Okay, next question is, when did I start reading? I started reading young, like 4, 5, probably. I started loving reading, I would say I started liking reading in the 3rd or 4th grade. I definitely liked reading. I think by 5th grade I loved reading. And in like high school, college, I think I kind of fell off my love for reading. When you start having to read for academia, especially things that you don't want to read, things that you can't relate to, racist books, like that's not fun. So I didn't really enjoy that. But yeah, once I started reading again for myself and for educating myself, that was a lot better. Where do I read? Usually my bed, the park, a chair, the floor. Yeah, I think my bed's the best place to read. I also enjoy reading in the park. It depends, because the other day I was reading in the park, and then I started like bawling, and I was like, I need to go home. And then otherwise, I don't know, I have kind of visceral reactions to books. If they're good, I have a visceral reaction to the books. I'm like, oh my God, what? Or I'll like laugh, and like I feel like people think I'm weird. So reading in the park sometimes, but I enjoy reading in my house. Next is, what kind of books do you like to read? I've said this already, but sci-fi fantasy is my favorite. I prefer like dystopian sci-fi fantasy. I don't know, are people making utopian sci-fi fantasy? I feel like dystopian's more popular. I like dystopian sci-fi fantasy. I like things that have to do with like rebellion or revolution, that type of stuff for sure. I really do prefer like that type of dynamic. I like reading about like royalty and sci-fi fantasy, especially when somebody like is not royal and then interacts with royals and blah blah blah, and they gained power, and yeah, I like that type of stuff. Yeah, and I really like Black lit lately. I love Zora Neale Hurston, so I'm getting ready to read a lot more of her work. Octavia Butler, I also like and enjoy classic Black sci-fi writer, so I really want to get through as much of her like discography, I don't know what you would call it, as I can. Let me see, who else? I really like Lascelles Sambury, the current Black sci-fi fantasy author. I loved her series Blood Like Magic, Blood Like Fate. It's a duology. Incredible. I'm definitely excited to read more of her work. Yeah, and I'm excited to read some more like Latin authors, Latin history. Okay, I'm back. Sorry if the angle changed a bit. You guys fell. I was saying I am excited to read more in like the Latin, Hispanic, Caribbean, like diaspora. I'm Puerto Rican and Italian, so I want to read more understanding those histories, especially the history of Puerto Rico. I know like the general broad understanding, but I want to read more work like regarding that. Yeah, I've got a couple books up here on my TBR that I want to read discussing like Puerto Rico and its history and stuff like that. And in general, I'm excited to read more Hispanic authors. Okay, last question is, what does my book collection look like? And it looks like this. I have some more books like everywhere in my room, but yeah, it looks like this. Oh, look at this book I picked up the other day, guys. How fire is this? Understanding Jim Crow. And it's got all of these images of like the caricatures and different advertisement and designs. I just visually, this is so interesting, and I'm excited to like read more about it. I started learning about caricatures and minstrelsy and etc. in college, and since then it's just been something that's really interesting to me. So I'm excited to read this. This is a really awesome pickup that I got recently. But yeah, mostly this is what my book collection looks like. A lot of my books rotate because I try to like get rid of books that aren't like my favorite. So I try to keep like my favorite books or books that I really enjoyed and would recommend. And otherwise, I usually like give my books away. I just don't have the space to keep them right now. And also like, I enjoyed it. I read the story. I got what I needed from it. I may as well just give it to somebody else so someone else can enjoy it, especially because I know what it's like to not be able to afford having books. And like, I love the library, support the library, no cuts to library, no cuts to libraries, hashtag library save lives. But anyways, I love the library, and I grew up like taking out from the library all the time, junior high, high school, middle school, etc., even my public library. But there's something about owning a book and having it and being able to write in it and highlight and love on it, you know? So yeah, I do a lot of donating. Oh, another series I really like that I don't have anymore is the, oh, what is it called? It was a movie, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I read all of those books. I loved them so much, but the set was taking up so much space on my shelves. So I just gave it away because I really enjoyed it. And it was one of those that like, even though I had the whole set and I would love to keep it, I was like, I feel like somebody else would enjoy. So gave those away. And yeah, this is what my collection looks like. Do you love it? I love it. I love it. Yeah. Oh, author I didn't mention, Jesmyn Ward. I read Salvage the Bones, and it was incredible. Yeah, I'm excited to read more of her stuff as well. If you like any of these titles, if any of these look interesting to you, follow me, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, thanks for watching the Booktube Newbie Tag.